is me, Colt Seavers, and this is my hero's journey.
Or just start from the top.
Okay, I'm not the hero of this story. I'm just a stunt guy. Trying to look cool in front of the director of this movie. That's her, who I just so happen to have a major crush on.
We need to keep it super profesh.
Cool.
So last Friday night was a little bit of a rare trip to the cinema for the entire family. Yes, my daughter wanted to go and see the movie Challengers, the Zendaya one where she has a threesome with two gay lads apparently. So she wanted to go and see that. So she went to see that with her friend. And my wife and I took my middle child to see The Fall Guy, because that's a new movie that's out there right now on the big screen and you can go and see it. Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. What could possibly go wrong? So, my name is Kevin Held, and this is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home phobia news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. I like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget. Ryan Gosling, fresh off the Barbie bandwagon that came out last year, proving that he's not just a pretty face, he's also pretty thick when he wants to be, moving into a new film about a stuntman based off of the 80s TV show, 70s, 80s TV show, The Fall Guy with Lee Majors, and it also stars Emily Blunt, fresh off Marion John Krasinski. But yes, do all those wonderful, amazing things that I always ask you to do, and that is to like, subscribe, and ding that notification bell. So we're going to do what we always do here. We are going to talk about the plot of the movie, then we will get into our cast and characters from this movie and the crew of the movie. Then we will talk a little bit about what I did and didn't like about this, and then we will get into my Nerdly Out Loud rating. And that's my rating. Go over to nerdly.co.uk. I'm pretty sure there's people over there who've also reviewed this movie. If you've seen the original TV show, it's not necessarily a straight-up remake. They are doing something a little bit different. Ryan Gosling plays the Fall Guy. He's a stuntman to the stars. He's got this one superstar that he always works with, Tom Ryder. Tom Ryder is played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is smashing it right now. I genuinely think he might be the best thing in this movie. So he's his stunt guy, and at the start of the movie, he's about to do a big stunt, but he does this opening monologue and this opening montage kind of thing where he's telling you about this camerawoman that he's just so in love with, played by Emily Blunt as Jody Moreno. He's kind of in love with her, and he's just sort of giving her a little bit of lovey banter on the way to this huge stunt that he's about to do, kind of being a little bit relaxed about the whole thing. Anyway, he does the stunt. It goes wrong, he breaks his back, and we cut to like 6 months later, a year later, I forget how far it is, but we cut forward and he's now a bit of a bum. He's not really doing the stunts anymore. He's given up on it because he failed the stunt and he feels like he let the entire team down. Then he gets a call from a producer from the movies who's played by Hannah Waddingham. We love Hannah Waddingham. She is awesome. And it's such a fun last name to say, Waddingham, or Waddingham, or however you want to say it. So he gets a call from her. She is the producer of these movies, and she's like, we need you to come back into the fold to finish off this film because Tom Ryder has gone missing. So he's kind of like, nah. And she's like, well, the director is said camera girl, Jody, and she's specifically asking for you. That gets him on the plane, that gets him there, and that gets him in the movie, and that's where things really kick off. Of course, he rekindles his connection with Jody, so that's going on. And then it just becomes this all-out, balls-to-the-wall kind of action with moments in time where we stop the movie at a screeching halt to do some lovey-dovey stuff. There's not really much else to say. It just becomes one of those movies, like your typical action movie with some really good stunts, some great action. So we may as well just get into our cast and crew. And first of all, Ryan Gosling. I didn't like the Barbie movie at all, and it's got nothing to do with what that movie represented or anything like that. I just thought it was a bad movie. I thought it was piss poorly written. I thought the acting wasn't great. I thought Ryan Gosling is way better than that. Like, he didn't need to be Ken in that film. He didn't need to be in that film. And most of all, I just thought it wasn't a good film. That's that. But here we are, he's back, and he's back with style. We're back in a movie where we know Ryan Gosling can hang with these guys. I'm pretty sure he was a stuntman in Drive, wasn't he? Or Place Beyond the Pines, he was like a Daredevil kind of guy. So we like Ryan Gosling in these roles, and this is a good ass role for Ryan Gosling. Emily Blunt, however, I don't know. I don't know what to do with her character in this movie. I wasn't buying the character. She's like this camera woman who then becomes the director of the movie, which I'm really happy to see. And it's like, this is awesome. We've got some progression here. She's going to be a nice, strong, powerful woman. But no, she kind of just becomes a lovesick fool for Ryan Gosling. And there are moments where she tries to have the upper hand, or they try to give her the upper hand. It's not a thing about not liking Emily Blunt, because The Quiet Place is a fantastic film. She is fantastic in that movie. Like, suspension of disbelief for giving birth, of course, but you know, she's fine in this movie. She's just not doing a lot. I feel like I'm being harsh on her. I am being harsh on her. But she's not doing a great deal. But then again, the movie's about the fall guy. It's about Ryan Gosling. Hannah Waddingham is absolutely brilliant. She just plays that stiff upper lip. I love her in this movie. She has ulterior motives all the way through it. It's pretty transparent what's going on there. And then we got to talk about Aaron Taylor-Johnson, because I've not been a massive fan of Aaron Taylor-Johnson through the years. He's been in a few things where he has kind of like surprised me. And then he did Bullet Train, same director. David Leitch, by the way, was the director of this. He did Bullet Train with David Leitch, and I loved Bullet Train. I thought that was just a fun as fuck movie. Like, you want to talk about movies that were made for just pure action, adrenaline, excitement. Like, Bullet Train's one of those movies. And I thought that that's what The Fall Guy was going to be. I thought The Fall Guy was going to be one of those movies. You know, like last year we got Maverick, or the year before we got Top Gun Maverick, and that was just like a movie, like an action fans movie. I thought that's what we were getting with The Fall Guy, but we just throw in a load of namby-pamby, sort of lovey-dovey rom-com stuff. This is a rom-com, essentially, with stunts. And I guess that's where I fall down. But Aaron Taylor-Johnson, sorry, I digress. That I'm just going to end up ranting. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is wonderful. He plays this role so cool. It feels like a heightened version of Aaron Taylor-Johnson. But by far and away, the big thing about this movie, it's a movie about a stunt guy. It's a movie about stunts. It's a movie about stunt men. And those are the pockets of this movie where it just lives, breathes, and just elevates just to another level. David Leitch and his team, because of course David Leitch, Deadpool 2, Bullet Train, Atomic Blonde, you know, like all those movies have a few things in common, being action, outrageous stunts, proper outlandish, amazing stunts. And this movie does that to the nth degree, like just brilliant. But not like silly stunts. They're also really kind of like stunts that we've seen over the years, but just done to perfection. Especially with the truck, when he's in the back of the skip and the skip's like getting tugged along by a big lorry and it's just like spinning round and he's fighting the guy at the same time. It just all looked brilliant. Even getting thrown through a pane of glass. Ryan Gosling has never looked so good getting thrown through a piece of glass. Now, I understand we've got stuntmen on the side who are going to be doing all that. I'd like to think Gosling done some of it, because that would play into like a little bit of this meta nature to the movie. But I'd like to think he did some of it. So we may as well talk about what I didn't like. I loved that. The stunt aspect is flawless. And even getting a couple of little jabs about winning Oscars for stunts where it's sort of like, no, that doesn't really happen. I think the writing on this movie at times, not all the time, but at times is tear gas. It's just cringy. It's just not doing anything for me. Most of that dialogue is when Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are going back and forth. I know they're trying to build a little bit of tension. They're trying to build a little bit of animosity. She's like lovesick. He's like wants to get back with her. I know what they're doing. It just didn't always land. It didn't always land for me. And it was a little bit like, she's talking about how she wants to change the movie a little bit. And she says, what do you think about split screen? Instantly in my head, I know that this conversation is now going to be split screen. And I thought maybe it's going to be like he's going to get attacked. he's going to be getting his ass kicked on one side of the screen while she's walking around and she's sort of like telling the story and all this kind of thing. But no, he sits down and they actually have a conversation in split screen about how aliens and cowboys love each other. She's the alien, he's the cowboy. And I was just like, I don't need any of this. It made the movie feel a bit too long at times. I think we could have maybe cut 20 minutes out of this movie and you're not losing a great deal, to be completely honest. I loved the ending, the credits. The credits were fantastic. We get to see some of the stunts being done behind the scenes. I loved all of that. Lee Majors gets a cameo. We're not going to mention where or when, but he gets a cameo, and it's cool. See him, and Jason Momoa is in the movie as well. Jason Momoa pops up, and basically, I think, sets up Fall Guy 2. Like, I think we could easily have a Fall Guy 2 with Jason Momoa. And I would be totally down for that. I would love all of that. So going into my final rating, and I'm very on the fence. I'm very down the line. There's not really a lot about this movie that I just overall love. I do love the stunt aspect of it. But to be perfectly honest, I just don't think anyone other than Ryan Gosling is smashing their role. Like, Gosling is fantastic, but at the same time, he's just come off this Barbie movie, which I think has actually hurt his career. Because if you have seen A Place Beyond the Pines, you know that Ryan Gosling has got it in spades. He is a fantastic actor when people let him be a fantastic actor. He makes this work. He makes the role work, absolutely. I could actually buy the fact that he possibly did some of these stunts. I could buy that. But at the end of the day, I'm right down the middle. It's a 3 out of 5, and I'm going to go with a 3 because of the stunt work, because of David Leitch, because I know what this man has in the bag. I know what he's got in his pockets. I know what he can do when he can do it. And everything he does in this movie, he does it to the best of his abilities. I just think his strengths maybe don't lie in that rom-com area, in that human aspect area where we're going to have two people who love each other but trying not to love each other while they're making a movie. Like, maybe that's just not his bag. 100% though, David Leitch, I would love to see another Fall Guy. Bullet Train 2, 1 million trillion %, give me that. Aaron Taylor Johnson, if you get that James Bond role, if you're going to be James Bond, I'm down for that. Jason Momoa, please come back. Please make Fall Guy 2 and please be like the acting lead that Ryan Gosling's going to be the stuntman for. I love that idea. If you've seen the movie, let me know. That's what the comments are there for. I want to hear what people think. I've got a feeling most people are going to completely disagree with me. I just had more hopes and more expectations for this. And when I'm talking about cutting 20 minutes out to make a film tighter and make a film a little bit better, that's not a great thing to be saying. But yeah, 3 out of 5 from me. I thought David Leitch and his stunt team have done a great job on that aspect. I just think there's certain parts of the story I didn't really need. So I'm going to go. My name's been Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for the news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. Please go over to the website, check out all the reviews over there, see if anybody liked it a little bit more than I did. And yeah, I'm out. But for now, the Fall Guy for me is a 3 out of 5.